My name is Dr. Christopher Paynter. I'm a family physician with SSM Health Group and with the Jefferson City Group in Tipton for Sales. And I was asked to speak about my journey I have, that I've basically traveled in this way. And then just kind of want to start off by saying, yes, I am old enough to be a doctor. So I don't know, it was actually kind of odd for me to even be asked to be here. It was very humbling. I guess I never really felt like my story was all that unique or special, but it definitely is a unique story and one that truly reflects on the grace of God. So my journey began when I was a baby. See, on May 9th, 1985, at Chungcheng Park in Loteng, Cheng, Taiwan, I was found by the police at 10:15 p.m. In a park with my brother, who was about 2 years old at the time. So we were just, we were left behind, no information to talk about our past or anything. And fortunately, through the local orphanage called the Home of God's Love, we were able to be cared for, and they were actually missions from Missouri as well. And through the 9th Street Christian Church in Eldon, Missouri, the church that they partnered with, they were two people who were unable to have children of their own, were able to adopt myself and my brother. And from that point on, our lives would be changed very significantly. So my brother and I grew up in Eldon, which is a very small town in mid-Missouri. Don't worry about it if you don't know where that is. One thing I've always loved about small towns is that how nice everyone is. People, they just do things for you because they care, not because they have to. When my dad was in a massive car accident, I can't tell you how many people were always at the house to care for him or just to contact me and ask me how he was doing. And they were very active people. They were very involved with their town and very active with the church. They always told me that there was always time if you're willing to make the time. So even with all their support, my brother and I still struggled to reconcile our past and our identities. Even in the nicest small towns, kids can be very quick to remind you how different you are. So as a child, I struggled with anger issues, and my parents were called in the office a lot for fights that I was getting in, and I was just a very angry child, and I couldn't really understand why, even to the point where I'd even consider running away and stuff, and it was tough. But eventually, things would calm down, and I began to find direction. My interest in healthcare actually began in 7th grade when my dad let me skip a field trip, which was to a baseball game, actually, and then I got to spend the day with him. He was the fire chief for the Rocky Mountain Fire Protection District, and I instantly fell in love with being able to, just the rush of riding in the trucks, and got to go to a car wreck and a brush fire. I didn't really get to help out, but I immediately wanted to, and so from that point on, I joined the fire department, and then I became a first responder at 16 and EMT at 18. So my interest continued to grow from that point on. I thought I wanted to become a flight nurse, so I started as a nurse's aide in my senior year in high school, and then I enrolled in the nursing program at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. Throughout that process, several teachers, mentors back in Eldon, they felt like there was more, not saying that there was less or anything, but they felt like there was something else different for me. And so felt compelled to continue finding a path in leadership in healthcare. So as a result, I did what any responsible, motivated young man would do. I made impulsive decisions and dropped out of nursing school. So because of those impulsive decisions, I did not prepare appropriately for the MCAT, which is the test to get into medical school. I thought I could teach myself organic chemistry or biochemistry because I hadn't had the class yet. Clearly, that was not the case, and I scored very poorly on the MCAT. But I think it was good that I did, though. So I took some time out, got a master's at biomedical sciences, and then later was accepted in the Kansas City University College of Osteopathic Medicine. I survived medical school and actually, scored pretty well on boards, but because of scoring well, the arrogance and immaturity started to creep back in, and it showed when I interviewed. And of course, I didn't match right away into residency, and I felt like that experience was very important because it knocked me down a few notches right where God needed me to be. I looked for other ways to serve. During that time process, I became a leader in the security team for my church, and also later became chief resident in my residency program. It was not exactly the path that I had envisioned for myself, but it was actually very important, because doing these things actually is how I met the recruiter for SSM. Actually, it was just kind of by accident, but it actually worked out really well, and it gave me the opportunity to be able to come back to the town and the community that I grew up with, and it's actually been a great experience. Everyone has been very supportive. There were so many who were there for me during my earliest struggles and were patient with me as I grew up and still working on maturing. Now I'm blessed to be there for them during their struggles. And as an osteopathic physician, each day I have the opportunity to keep my patients in my community healthy, with, of course, attention to body, mind, and spirit, which is what we're trained. And I'm overwhelmed with gratitude that so many people have been very supportive of me and, wanting to see me as their doctor and actually be able to respect me in that way. See, many things could have gone differently over the years, but I believe that today I am exactly where God intended me to be. By the grace of God, I was found in the park, and by the grace of God, I was united with my parents and my community. At times in life, when things don't go smoothly, is because I needed to be reminded of who was in control. See, in Isaiah 41:10, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This does not mean that life is always going to be filled with rainbows and unicorns. On the contrary, many times it's going to be very difficult and backbreaking. But those are the best times. Those are the times when you realize that you need God the most. So as I look back in my life and see how far my brother and I have come, I realize that God had not forgotten us during those tough times, even in that park late at night. Clearly, God's plan is way more important than mine. So I just want to say thank you, and go Royals.